Hey, what's up? Tracy here. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about analyzing Facebook ads and kind of give you an over-the-shoulder look at one of our newest ad accounts and really show you the different stats that we look for when it comes to analyzing the effectiveness of your Facebook ads. Specifically, this is in regards to e-commerce Facebook ads. You can apply similar things to other industries, but for the most part, what I'm sharing today works really well when it comes to e-commerce specifically. And so I'm going to show you the different columns that we have set out in our back office of our ads manager, as well as walk you through some different stats and what we look for when it comes to determining whether we should kill an ad or keep that ad running. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the column titles up here. This is actually the custom columns that we use to analyze our stats. Some people might say that we are a little excessive in how many we use, but there's a lot of different factors that I like to consider before I just decide to kill an ad. And so I really want you to get a look into that process for me. And hopefully that will help you make better decisions, because I know sometimes it's really easy to just kill an ad that might have actually taken off. And so I'm going to show you a few key things to look for in order to decide if you should keep that ad running or not. Okay, and so to get started, let's just look up here so you can see we have the CPM, which is the cost per 1,000 impressions, basically how much it's costing to show your ad to 1,000 people. And ideally, I like this number to be under $10, closer to the $6 to $7 range. But like I said, these are really new ads. This is a completely new ad account, new pixel, so there's not much data to go from yet. And so these actually did start higher, these numbers, and they are consistently getting lower every day. So the most important thing with your CPM is that you're seeing it go down every day. If you see it going up or you see it staying really high, then it's going to be hard to get the results you want with that ad, just because it won't get shown to enough people. So like I said, ideally I like to see this number under $10. And so these ones right here are working their way there. You will though see that your CPM will be higher with retargeting ads, because you're obviously being shown to a lot less people a lot more frequently. And then you'll also get usually higher CPMs as you're going for a purchase conversion versus a PPE or video view ad. You're always going to have really low CPMs for anything with engagement as your objective. And so these CPMs right here, these are for conversion ads. And so those are the ones that I definitely like to see below $10. Okay, next is impressions. So that's how many impressions you've actually already gotten on your ads. And I just like to keep an eye on this because I like to see, based on the audience size, you know, how far we're getting in regards to how many people are seeing that ad so far from that audience. Okay, and then we have post engagement. Obviously, that's how many people are actually liking and commenting on our post, as well as the cost per post engagement. And I really just like to use these numbers to make sure that they're in the general ballpark. Typically, an ad that's going to convert has really similar PPE results, almost always below 10-cent engagements, and typically just gets a lot of engagement out the gate. Now, engagement alone is not a good indicator of whether you'll get purchases or not, but I just know that if the engagement isn't there at all, that the purchases typically don't come either. So the engagement, just one, helps start building social proof and helps giving me an idea of whether or not that's a great audience and offer to continue with. Okay, and now the next three columns we're going to look at are the link clicks, the cost per link click, and then the link click-through rate. And similar to engagement, this basically helps me get a general ballpark range of whether or not this ad is going to go on to perform. Typically for our best converting ads in regards to purchase ads, the ones that get the most purchases typically have 50 cent or lower link click cost. So I know that in regards to our niche and the types of products we're promoting, that if we are paying a lot more than 50 cents per link click, that ad set probably won't perform as well as our others. And so if it continues on that path, then I know that I'm no longer going to run it. Okay, so that for us is the number we're typically looking for, is 50 cents or less. But if it is getting, you can see if it is getting a little bit higher, then I will keep it running longer as long as the purchases are coming through. But if it's showing more than 50 cents per link click and it's also not getting add to carts and other activity, then I will not keep that ad running. Okay, and then the click-through rate for here, this typically we are looking at 2% or more. That's definitely the ones that will end up performing and getting purchases for us. So you can see that on here, I do have a few that are right below the 2% mark. And like I said, since this is a new ad account, that can happen sometimes in the beginning, and then that starts to improve as the ad optimizes and performs better. So if it stays in the range, then I do keep it running as long as the sales and the ROI is there. Okay, but 2% or higher is ultimately what you're going to be looking for. Okay, and then we have the budget and budget remaining, and these are just obviously to keep an eye on the financials every day of the ad account, to pay attention to how much is being spent daily and also how much more ad spend is going to happen for the rest of that day. And that also just allows me to see the ads are being evenly dispersed throughout the day, and I know where we're at in that process. So this isn't completely necessary in regards to analyzing your stats. It's just a number that I like to be aware of as the day goes on. The next two columns are the amount spent and the purchase conversion value. And so obviously the amount spent is telling you what you spent that day, lifetime, whatever settings you have on your account. And that again just helps us to see where we're at in regards to the ROI. So that's also the next column after that is the ROAS, which is the how much you're making in regards to how much you're spending, right? And so you can see these three columns right here are really what help us decide whether we're going to keep it running. So as long as the ROAS is 2.0 or higher, that is an ad that we typically will keep running. And so you'll see that we do have a couple that are right below again. But since these are fairly new ads, they're just getting started, I'm going to let those run a little bit more so long as the rest of the data keeps performing and we continue to get purchases on it. Okay, but so these three columns are really, really important when it comes to your profitability. If you are not paying attention to your purchase conversion value and your purchase ROAS, then it's going to be really hard to decide which ads are the best to continue running and also which ads are the best to scale. So definitely you want to have these in your columns, and I'm going to show you actually how to add all these as well. First, I just wanted to go over each one and what you're looking for. Okay, and then the rest of the columns are dedicated just to the pixel stats. So what I like to track is the obviously purchases, the cost per purchase, content views, add to carts, unique add to carts, add to cart conversion value, checkout initiated, and checkout initiated conversions. So I will say you don't need all these. Again, there's just certain numbers that I like to see because one is morale booster. When I see certain numbers like the add to cart conversion values and the initiate checkouts, that helps me to really see the potential of that ad financially, of what kinds of products people are adding to the cart. Even if they don't convert, I like to see, like, are they adding $100 worth of stuff to the cart, or are they just adding a single product? That really helps me to see the activity that's happening there. And so obviously this data just helps you see how your pixel's performing and how much money your ads are actually making. And so this is how you can keep track of your total content views and your total add to carts, which will help you in the future in deciding when you're going to turn those into custom audiences. Okay, so if you say you're waiting to get 300 add to carts before you're going to create a custom audience for your lookalike audience, then you'd be able to see down here in your total stats where you're at in regards to that goal. So again, I also like these rows because if I see an ad is getting a lot of add to carts and it's starting to see the initiate checkouts, then I know, okay, if someone hasn't purchased yet, but it's getting all this activity, then I need to go look at my site and see what's going on. Are people having an issue at checkout? Is it that they are looking for PayPal as an option to check out? There's a lot of different factors that could be happening, but if you're getting add to carts and you're getting initiate checkouts and you're seeing the value, even if you haven't seen the sale, then you know that the audience is right. You know, that's obviously an audience that's resonating with your offer. So your product is obviously something they want and they like it, but there's something holding them back from completing the purchase. And that's what this data helps you go in and start to analyze on your store is, why is it that they're not fully checking out? And so you can go figure that out, make the necessary changes, and start increasing your actual purchases. Okay, and so the final row that we have here is just the frequency, and I just like this to be able to tell when an ad is starting to get, ad fatigue, people are starting to see it too much. If the frequency gets, between 2 and 3, it starts really getting higher. That typically is an ad that starts to underperform. So I just like to keep this here to pay attention to those factors. The only one with frequency that you will always see higher, obviously, is your retargeting ads. But ultimately, those are the ones you want to have higher frequency because those are people who have shown interest in your products. And so those are the main columns that we have here. And to do this, to set these up, if you don't know already, all you need to do is come over here where it says columns, and then you're going to click on customize columns. And then you're just going to add them all here. And so what I can do is I can actually have these below the video. I'll have a list so you can just see this, or you can, look back through this video and just go through and add all of these on your own through your ads manager. Okay, so you just go to that section, add them all in here. You just click the ones you want to add. You can even search for them, and then you're going to save them as a preset, name them what you want, and then go ahead and click apply. Okay, and then one more thing in regards to analyzing your ads and deciding if you're going to keep them running. Most of the time you want to let them run at least 3 days before you can really judge the effectiveness of that ad. And so in all of those cases, let it run 3 days, get the data. Even if it's initially higher than you want for your cost per purchase, it could just take those first 3 days to start building up. If it continues to have, a cost higher than you can afford for your ROI, then you would obviously kill that ad. But always give it at least 3 days to start performing before you judge it, okay? And then again, ultimately, you're looking for less than 10-cent post engagements. You're looking for 50-cent or less link clicks, 2% or higher click-through rates, and then add to cart, initiate checkout activity in your first 24 to 48 hours of the ad, and then ultimately purchases within your first 3 days. Those are some of my best tips for really fully analyzing your ads and getting the most out of them. I hope that's helpful. I am looking forward to doing more videos like this. I know this is an area where a lot of people struggle, and so definitely giving you some more real life examples, bringing you into some other ad accounts, giving you different examples of different niches, and really helping you gain clarity on how to really work effectively with your Facebook ads and scale them to get more profitable results. So with that, if you found value, be sure to click the subscribe button below and turn the notifications on for this channel, as we will be putting up a lot more content in the coming days to really help you get started on launching and growing a successful WooCommerce store.